listening to the Ice Prep Podcast. Here's your hosts, Bryan and Pat.
Welcome, everyone, to Ice Prep Podcast. You okay over there, Pat?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
So, Pat, I guess Monday being Halloween has decided he's going to wear his Michael Myers mask for the episode.
No, it's too hot. Oh, my goodness. That is a really, really warm mask.
I was going to say, you were a little bit more tan, and it looked like you dyed your hair.
Wait, more tan? That thing was like bright. Oh, man. All right. That's good to know.
We'll blame it on the light that you use.
Yeah, it's weird lighting. That's all that.
Happy Friday listening to this. Saturday for those of you on CJBK. Yeah, Halloween just around the corner, which is exciting. I have a little pumpkin here beside me, so that's as Halloween-y as I get without like tearing apart part of my basement behind me.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hopefully a good day for the kids to go out. Amazingly, there's only 3 NHL games on Halloween night, which is, I get why the NHL would do that, but at the same time, maybe now they're just like, we don't want people coming to the games in costumes.
Oh, yeah, I guess that does make sense. You don't want to have people in masks and stuff like that, because that wouldn't be good.
Most teams now do like a Star Wars night anyway, so people get to dress up for that. And still disappointing, because I can remember you used to see you'd watch the games on Halloween, and it would just be like parades of people going in looking ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that does kind of suck. And Vancouver's not playing, and not because it's scary to watch them play, but they usually do jerseys right. And if there was a team that would do a Halloween jersey, it would probably be them. So that, or maybe the Kings. Maybe the Kings will have something. They're playing on Monday, so maybe we'll see. Probably not.
Well, I was gonna say if it was the Canucks, they could dress up like an actual hockey team and show up.
Yeah, but I don't know. What's scarier? How poorly they're playing, or dressing up for Halloween? Because I don't know. Like, if somebody said what's the scariest costume, I would just put any sort of Canucks, like probably TJ Miller or JT Miller. Sorry.
Yeah, TJ Miller.
No.
He's the color commentator for Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, awful. They are playing terrible.
Yeah, they are 0-5-2 right now. At when we're recording this, they have puck drop in just over an hour. They also play again Friday night, so by the time Saturday comes around, there exists a universe where they could be 0-7-2, but there also exists a universe where they could be 2-5-2 and like 1 or 2 points out of the playoff race, which is disgusting. The Pacific is
early,
awful.
Though. But I saw a fun little factoid of if they lose their next game, which I believe
they play Seattle tonight.
Is that tonight? So if they lose
Thursday
tonight,
night,
being Thursday night, then that means they have a worse opening record than any other of the Vancouver Grizzlies, the basketball team.
Oh, that
bad. Was so bad they don't exist anymore.
That's real bad.
Love it. Oh, chaos.
There's probably a subset of the audience that are like, Vancouver had a basketball team? Yes, once upon a time.
Hey, where did you think they would end up?
Who?
Vancouver. You with your predictions.
Oh, I had them making the playoffs. Yeah, that's going
third.
That's going.
You had them third.
The way they finished off last season, and they made no changes except for they backed up the Brinks truck to JT Miller. I was like, okay, I mean, but I expected them to at least come out of the gate showing something. And instead, you listen to people like Elliot Friedman talk, and they're like, yeah, it could end up being either Bo goes or JT goes, and only one of them has a contract next year. So the math is kind of simple on that one, I think. Because, I mean, you sell JT Miller now, and you're selling as low as you can possibly get on him, which That's bad because he is a great player. He just can't play defense to save his life or win his team a game.
Well, I'm wondering because we talked about this earlier in the season last year about locker room. And Miller was like, when getting in there, he was notorious for not being good in the locker room. He was not he wasn't really good team dynamic. And I'm wondering if he got his payday and then was just like, cool, bye. I don't care. I'm going to go back to who I was.
I can't remember where I heard it, but somebody basically said, you have to be a problem if Tampa gets rid of you. Tampa keeps people to win. And like they don't get rid of a good player for no reason. So they knew something there. I guess it's a good thing for the Leafs that they don't play Vancouver to start the season because Vancouver, you remember the COVID season. They came back after the COVID break. They had like none of their players and they beat the Leafs. Last year, they're coming off of all these injuries. They beat the Leafs. So good thing for the Leafs out there that Vancouver is
when they're healthy.
Vancouver's not a stop on this West Coast trip that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they get the 3 Cali teams.
No, I feel for the team, especially the fans. As much as Vancouver fans do get a bad reputation for being either very, very, let's just call them passionate.
I think that it's such a holdover too from the Stanley Cup final against Boston. And like we've seen, obviously it was a whole other beast when it was the Olympics, but that was a big subset of like Vancouver fans that were there in that city. Like the NHL is more fun to watch when Vancouver's doing well. Honestly, I think for them, they need Quinn Hughes back ASAP because the more ice time that Myers has, the worse that team is. And Besser being out doesn't help because that means JT Miller gets more time. And I'm pretty sure he might be leading the plus-minus race right now, and I don't even know if it's close.
I gotta say, though, with you saying that the league is better when Vancouver's doing well, I disagree. I feel like Vancouver is just kind of one of those teams, kind of, and like, I kind of say this about, I said it about Minnesota before, where they make it to the playoffs just to lose. That's how I always feel with Vancouver. They've never, like with the Sedin twins. No, I'm sorry. That was just a gimmick. They never were going to win. Plain and simple. They didn't have it. They didn't. I will probably be yelled at by a lot of Vancouver fans, and that's perfectly fine because I'm okay with this. Because I strongly believe that they were good, but when I heard they were getting into the Hockey Hall of Fame, I was like, I'm sorry, why? What did they do? They were twins, so it was a gimmick. But they weren't that good. They were great, but they weren't like all-star Hockey Hall of Fame. They were maybe 10 years down the road when they've run out of a few names a couple years from now. That's where they would belong to get in, to sneak in that way. Not right out of the gate. There are better people that deserve to be in there over them. And it's kind of frustrating that they're in there right now because it's very much it's a homer thing. It's the Canadian market driving that.
So Pat's going hard at Canadians or Vancouver fans on this one, to say the least.
Well, it's
last week you're like, Leaf fans, you don't deserve your team. This week he's like, Vancouver.
Well, it's just Vancouver hasn't done anything to, like, they have Demko, but they're not marketing Demko. They have Hughes. They're not marketing Hughes. They're not marketing their team. They're not making their team interesting to follow. And I think that's the reason why I don't particularly care. I want to care because I really sincerely do. But one, I hate their jersey colors. Go back to the skate blade, the black and the orange and the gold. That to me, you know what? I hate it when people are like, go back to the old jerseys, but now I'm doing that. I don't care. I just the color scheme is boring. It's boring on the ice. It's yet another blue. And just these players that could be icons They really could be. You got Pettersson, you got Besser, you got Horvat, you've got like you can name all these players, but I couldn't tell you what Horvat's voice sounds like, and I follow him on Instagram. Like, that's kind of the way that I'm approaching it. Jack Hughes, they market the crap out of him, and he hasn't had a breakout season yet.
Jack Hughes is also somebody who likes the camera. There's not really anybody in Vancouver that seems to like the camera. Like even his brother, he does fine talking,
his
but
brother looks like
he always
human.
Yeah, he always kind of has the deer in the headlights look when he's doing interviews on camera, whereas Jack is just he's not quite Trevor Zegras level of like happy puppy wants to chase the ball on camera. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like Vancouver's got the pieces. It's just what on earth is going on there. I mean, it's great if you're a fan of Seattle because, well, maybe not. Well, they're playing them tonight, but you like now every team that's coming up against the Canucks, you're like, I don't want to be the team that gives them their first win.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's all it takes for a crappy start with a good team. Mm-hmm. One win, and then all of a sudden they could end up being like 27-2 by the end of November. We just don't know because that magic number is American Thanksgiving, which is approaching quickly. Mm-hmm. And if they only have 2 points in their first like 10 games, I think you already count them out of the playoff spot immediately. And at that point, throw away everything. Get Bedard or try to.
Yep. Keep like a handful of pieces, the ones that you know will work with Bedard. But
Demko,
other than that,
Quinn Hughes, Pettersson. Sell everybody else. Maybe Bo. Maybe Bo.
Honestly, at this point, I'd get rid of Pettersson. Nothing against him. There's just something off.
It's almost like a Line-A situation.
Yeah, like I feel like he needs to go somewhere else. They brought in a different coach, and like he had to almost hold his hand to get him back in the game sometimes. Like there's something off with Pettersson. And I think it's just the big stage and him being, you're going to fix the team. And I think that's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's too much on him. And
I mean, at least he's a point per game right now for this season. He's 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. But here's the thing. He's a point per game player. He's a -4. That like Vancouver is not good. It is so bad. Yeah,
and the goaltending really, unfortunately, as much as, you know, obviously I'm a big fan of Thatcher Demko, he hasn't found his groove. He will. He's an all-star caliber goaltender. He truly will be one of the best goaltenders in the league for years to come. I'm very confident in this. But there's just something off with the team this year. Whether it's injuries or just maybe there's something wrong in the locker room, or maybe they're COVID. There's that long COVID. Maybe some of them are running into some situations related to that. But I want to go to the literal, complete, and 100% opposite of Vancouver. What is the total opposite situation to Vancouver right now, Brian? A team that has the spoils of amazing generational talents. Truly, they do, which is Vancouver. Thatcher Demko, generational talent. Quinn Hughes, same thing. Pettersson should be. Horvat is one of the, like, he's good. He's one of the, he is generational because he's clutch generational. Let's be honest. How many clutch goals has he scored?
He's Hockey Hall of Great, though. He's not Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes, but even still, these, in my opinion, a team.
You can build a team around them.
Yes. What is a team of non-generational talent that is somehow doing unbelievably good?
So technically that could be like 2 or 3 teams, but I assume you're talking about the John Tortorellas, who as of this moment are up 4-2 against the Florida Panthers, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure I said would not make the playoffs this year. Aaron Ekblad is out. He may not be back. And I'm pretty sure I said when we were going over, if Aaron Ekblad does not play, this team has no defense. And I don't think they make it. If I could recast that right now, I probably put them down further. The Flyers, I think they're coming in on the John Tortorella high. We've seen it before, and the fizzle will happen. They're playing a style to start a season that is good, and they're getting some goaltending, which, let's be honest, if you don't, like, look at the Devils, their first few games, they couldn't get a save to save their life. And they're gonna fall off a cliff. It will happen, but this is a good thing. I hate saying this for the Flyers. This is an amazing thing because it shows for the trade deadline, look at all the value in these players. They're now worth more. Philly, if Philly's management, well, mind you, their management is very stupid from what we've seen. Even if they're in a playoff spot come trade deadline, I think they still sell. Like,
oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
There's way too many injuries there, and they're up there with Arizona as like the 1, 2, and 3 with Chicago. All 3 of those teams are having hot starts to the season, which everybody, you look around the league, that was like 32, 31, 30 probably on everybody's list of like the bottom teams in the league. They've started off hot. The Canadians started off hot. You just never know. Good on the Flyers. Like, they're getting scoring from everywhere, and I think that's helping.
Yeah, like there's no real big standout. I mean, I think Konechny's doing okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Travis Konechny's got a fair amount. I know he ate the Devils up when that one happened.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I can't even tell you half the people on the team. Like, I'm looking at the points. He's not in points. I'm going to look at goals. I see no Flyers in goals for
they don't have anybody 25. In the top 50 in points, which is
what?
Which is crazy. They're just getting they're getting so much scoring from everybody. They're playing. This is what Tortorella does, though. He comes in and it's, I don't care how good you think you are playing as a team, and Philly is showing it, and they're getting the saves, and yeah, like it will. Flyers fans know this. It will wear off because eventually teams will figure it out. It's like, minus this season, the Leafs normally to start a season, their power play goes like 90% success rate, and then people start to figure it out and it starts to really dip off. You don't want to be playing like either of the Flyers, the Blackhawks, or Arizona right now. They're playing with house money. Mind you, you really don't want to be playing against Arizona at home. We'll get to that.
The one thing I do want to say, though, is I am super duper happy for Carter Hart. That kid has deserved...
That's the only thing that I'm happy about.
Yeah, that kid has deserved this feeling for so long. They tried to carry Price him, and, like, you know...
Ron Hextall wanted him to stay down longer, and what we saw, he was right.
Yeah, he was right, but also you look at, hindsight 2020 with Carey Price. When you have a bad team in front of a good goaltender, and the goaltender has to come out every single night, stand on their head, and do everything they can, it takes a toll both physically and mentally. And
I think
I don't want Carter Hart to get into that situation.
And we've already seen that, and that's kind of what's happening and happened with Mackenzie Blackwood as well. Like, he has his good night, and then you're like, oh, he let in 5 goals against Washington in a game where he shouldn't have.
Yes and no. I honestly, the Devils have been significantly, in my opinion, significantly better than Philly for years. Kevin Hayes can only do so much. That's the way I kind of look at things. But no, Philly has, they've paid their dues for being pretty meh, and they've lost a lot of good people. They have some really good talent on there. Morgan Frost, Couturier, he's injured, but he's still good. You've got Cam Atkinson, you've got Travis Konechny, you've got Carter Hart. You've got these players that are good. They're good players. So
hearing all of this between us, the Flyers could not have unveiled Gritty at a better time to get a fan base through such a terrible time. Like, I don't want to see the Flyers go on a playoff run as a New Jersey fan. I want to see Gritty being a menace late in the playoffs, because I have the feeling it would just be more and more unhinged, and I want to see
he'd bring in the Philly Fanatic.
You'd think that it'd be both of them there. It'd be Gritty, like...
Well, Gritty's going to be at a Philly game.
Absolutely.
He's going to be there.
Like, that city loves Gritty. It's so weird, and it's so Philly, and I never thought I would be cheering for the Phillies to win, but I didn't want to see Houston or the Yankees win a World Series, so go Bryce Harper. Keep killing everybody.
Yeah, once again, we're talking about baseball, but no, I agree. Oh boy, it was satisfying to watch the Yankees get swept.
But at the same time, that means, the Astros are in the World Series.
Weirdly, to me, in my brain, that's the lesser of two evils. Not by much, but by a little bit. Because the Yankees are like, we're going to throw money at all of our problems. Look at Aaron Judge. He hits a bunch of home runs. We'll bring in Josh Donaldson so he can watch pitches that get thrown literally right down the middle of the street. Like, it's literally in the center. And he watches them. He's so bad. But anyways.
Hey, that's our former MVP you're talking about.
I know, but even still, it was really nice to see. And, Philly deserves a win. They have been through a lot. So they deserve a win.
Go Philadelphia Phillies. That's how we'll end baseball chat for this episode.
Yes, but if we want to talk about, I don't know where I'm segueing.
Yeah,
let's do a crappy segue. Speaking of bad arenas,
do you know what as an aside, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I really need to just make a animation of a segue that appears when Pat starts to change topic. Just have it go across the screen.
Because I'm so bad at segues. I might as well just shout segue, and then it's an actual segue goes across the screen.
We could do that. Yes. So Arizona, they still haven't played at home for those not following along at home. And so Pat can't see this. I'm going to pull it up on my screen here so that anybody watching can see. Here is a video walkthrough of this is the visitors locker room at Mullet Arena. So you go in, there's, for whatever reason, a hockey gate. And yeah, it's just a conference room where they've put the old Coyotes lockers, and there's folding chairs, and it does not look good at all.
I think that is at whatever college. I can't remember what college or university they're in, but I believe
ASU, I believe.
I think that's another rink.
It might be, yeah.
Because they go through the boards, and the boards are up. So I think they've literally, which means that that's not a permanent fixture. That goes in whenever there's a game, because they have to lay the boards down. Like if you're going to go to a concert at an arena, like we have Budweiser Gardens here in London, and they put down the floor. That's what that looks like.
I'm trying to remember. I think they said it's only for the first 5 games, just as they're getting everything else done. But honestly,
that's embarrassing.
Here's the thing, if I was, call me a little psychotic if you want. So Seattle, they did the renovations on there. So whoever had, we'll go with Calgary because we know they're getting a new arena. I hope that their home locker room they spend millions on it. For the away team, they go as bare bones as they can based on what the NHL wants. So it is the most uncomfortable place to be at all times. Like, there's stories from way back when where equipment managers would go in and like mess with the thermostat and take the lights out or stuff. Go back to that, mess with people. Why not? Like, yeah, you're going to play in a small arena in Arizona. They haven't had to set foot in a locker room like this. Like, even if they're doing one of the like craft hockeyvilles at a small little arena in the preseason, it's nicer than that. This would be like them being in my basement. It's so nasty looking. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I honestly, I kind of like the whole like feeling like you're behind stage at a concert vibe with the black curtains for some reason.
Which makes me wonder, like, does that mean potentially that Arizona's on the other side of that curtain?
I hope so. That'd be so bad that they don't even get good accommodations.
If that's the case, we need Philly there so that the other team can hear Torts just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Oh man, I would pay money to have a microphone just propped up in the middle.
You think
just
that
to hear both?
I would guarantee that first Arizona home game, whoever has it, that especially if it's TNT because of Paul Bissonnette, that he'll be like, no, we have to show this dressing room. And like he's an Arizona diehard. The more I look at this, when I first saw it, I was like, this is the worst thing ever. The more I'm thinking on it, it's like you're just messing with the other team. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, I hope they manage to give the like really good players, somebody superstitious like Crosby, like a chair that doesn't quite balance so that he just can't get comfortable. Like the mullet arena special, all the chairs just kind of creak a little bit and
wow.
And to me, the funniest thing is that it is the lockers that have the old logo on, so you know that they're like they were ripped out of some storage unit from somewhere. And when I first saw and heard of this, I was like rah rah rah, but I love it now. I honestly do. It is so funny. I can't believe this is the NHL.
Yeah, but see, and that's the part that bothers me.
Multi-billion-dollar company. This
is that like no other league would allow this to happen. Not a single one. If basketball, if the lowest team in the league said, "Hey, we're gonna move into this place. There's no visitors locker room." They'd be like, "Okay, you're not a team anymore. Let's move back to this country."
The COVID bubble, pretty sure Disney spent like millions making these unreal dressing rooms for the teams.
You can't even get a handout from Arizona because they don't want a team there.
This is what Gary Bettman wants instead of the Nordiques, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how little he thinks about Quebec as a place. Well, let's do another segue going across the screen, shall we? So, I promised Brian before we started recording that I had a little tiny game.
Oh, yes.
So my game, it's a pretty simple and straightforward game. As of recording, which is our favorite phrase to say, do you think you can name the teams that are from 1 to 10 in the league right now?
Okay, I know 1 and 2. I'm not sure the order, but I believe it goes Boston, Vegas.
Yes. It doesn't have to be in order, just guessing the 10.
Oh, guessing the 10?
Yeah.
Okay, Boston, Vegas, Buffalo.
That's number 10.
Oh, okay. Is Minnesota up there?
Nope.
Okay, well, there's a strike, so I'll go 3 strikes. So I got 2 more guesses wrong, and I'm out.
Yep.
Tampa?
Nope.
Okay, that's two. No, not Calgary. They've had too many losses, I feel. Wow, this is actually tougher than I thought it would be. I'm not like just trying to think of all the teams and how everybody's doing. I hate to say it. Philly?
No.
Okay,
They're 11th.
It's I gotta pull up the standings here
I
instead of
will
just
read it for those playing at home. We've got Boston in first, Vegas in second, then Calgary with one loss, by the way.
I thought so. Their only loss was against Buffalo. I for some reason thought that they had a bad record right now.
They're killing it. So Boston, Vegas, Calgary, Carolina. So a pretty standard in the top
How
10.
did I forget Carolina, honestly?
Pittsburgh, Dallas, Florida, which to me is more shocking than anything, Colorado, Ottawa, whoop, whoop, and Buffalo are the top 10. Please don't look at the bottom 10. Have you already?
No, I'm not.
Okay, we're doing it the other way.
I literally have the league wide, and I'm just looking at 1 to 10 right now.
Perfect.
Can I guess who is 32nd?
Yes.
Vancouver.
All right, who's 31st?
Oh God. San Jose.
Nope, but they're 30th.
Oh!
So you're good.
Oh,
no,
so
that's good. You're good. So you're still in the top or bottom 10. So you're still good.
Islanders.
Yeah. 24th.
Anaheim.
Yep, they're 31st.
Okay. So I'm 4-0 right now. This is really riveting. I'm apologizing to everybody right now. Because I'm trying to think of the teams and being like, who is really bad?
Yeah, right? Because some of them are sneaky.
Nashville?
Yeah, they're 28th.
Oh, and they started the season 2-0 in Europe, so that is really surprising.
Those are their only 2 wins.
Ooh.
Guess they shouldn't have lost Ingram.
I don't think Arizona's down there. I think they're middle of the pack right
Arizona
now.
is 29th.
Oh, I thought they've done better than that.
No, they have 2 wins.
Oh. I guess the one was against the Leafs, so that counts as like 20.
Yeah.
This is taking too long. Fill me in.
Fair enough. All right, so you got 5, and missed none, which is pretty good. So Vancouver is 32nd, Anaheim is 31st, San Jose is 30th, Arizona is 29th, Nashville is 28th. So those are pretty much the 5 you got there. Then Minnesota is 27th.
Wow.
Columbus is 26th. Montreal is 25th. New York Islanders, that's one you said, is 24th. Winnipeg is 23rd. And St. Louis, is 22nd.
Now, here's the thing with St. Louis, because I actually scrolled down to it. They are 3-2, so they have a ridiculously low amount of games compared to the rest of the league, so that is a big part of it. Winnipeg is a 500 team, so there's that at least, because you can look up ahead, and there's some teams that, like Tampa Bay is a 500 team. Seattle, New York, LA are all 500 teams. By the way, early. I would like to say I called that New York when Shesterkin isn't playing as a superstar. They suck.
Yeah.
If their backup's in, they don't win. He is not playing like a Vezina caliber goaltender this year. The Rangers are in trouble.
Edmonton's the same way.
Yes, they are. And that was my exact point last year with you as well.
It continues. They made no real actionable changes, and it shows.
Do you know what one of my favorite things is, by the way?
Edmonton's losing to the Oilers, or to Blackhawks right now.
I don't know if you're not looking at anything. What is the one division where 3 points separate 8 from first?
Oh, I do not know that one. Metro?
You got it. Carolina with 9, Pittsburgh with 9, Philly, Washington, New Jersey, New York Rangers 8, Islanders, Columbus 6. Wow. 6 point separation in the Atlantic. Actually, here it's even worse. So it's 5 point separation in the West, and that's because Arizona only has 4 points, and a 10 in the Pacific because Vegas has 12, Vancouver has 2. I love how the Devils are 4-3, and they are not in a playoff position currently.
It's so good. I think also, and I pointed this out to you yesterday, and it makes me smile because I'm going to move a little bit away. We're still talking about points. We're still talking about leadership or leaderboards and things like that. I'm so happy to see Val Nichushkin leading not only points, but also goals. He's tied with a bunch of people for goals, but even still, Big Val, Dallas straight up gave up on him. That is a man that said, I'm a good hockey player. And they're like, no, you're not. And they shipped him away. They got rid of him. They put him to the KHL. They're like, we don't want you. Then Colorado's like, all right, well, we'll take a gamble. And they pick him up. And he's pretty damn good. We can see he's working his ass off. He truly is. He gets a decent payday. And he's like, okay, let me show you what I can really do. And he comes out of the gate so friggin' hot. And I know, obviously, they're missing Landeskog, and that's a big catalyst to this. He's kind of filling that void on the power play and everything like that. But, wow, good for him.
Yeah,
so good.
And that's what the Avs need, though, is they need players like that to step up. I'd just like to say, we talked about this before, or we also mentioned Boston. They're absolutely killing it. Brad Marchand is back. He is on hat trick watch right now, and he is on a 3-point night, which is,
of course he is,
like, unbelievable. Boston was supposed to be like, they're going to have to climb their way back into this. I'm pretty sure I was like, I don't know if Boston's a playoff team this year. And as it stands right now, they're scary. Like,
you had them 5th.
Yeah, they as it stands right now, obviously it is way too early. They look like they could go on a run as the President's Trophy winner. They played so well without their stars, and Swayman has shown that, Ottinger isn't the only young superstar goalie in this league.
Yeah, Boston's on a tear you don't see very often. And normally I'm very anti-Boston. Just, we're surrounded by a lot. We're also surrounded by a lot of Canadian hockey media, and they're very anti-Boston. Montreal versus Boston is always heated. Toronto versus Boston, I don't think anything's
that one's
ever
just
happened
funny,
there.
though.
But, Boston's always painted with a really red brush up here. And, good for them. They're really kind of proving that they've recognized the talent that they have. They've recognized the team that they have. And they realized the coach wasn't working because they switched coaches and, well.
So I think there's a 2-part why there's a lot of hate for Boston up here. One is they've been so good for so long.
Yeah.
And 2, anybody who is not a Boston fan hates Jack Edwards more than any other commentator in any sports league.
Yeah. No, listening to their games is like trying to, I'd rather just gouge my eyes out than listen to one of their games. But
yeah, it's not good.
Is it the Rangers? I think it's the Rangers. One of them sounds like the guy's drunk the whole time, or like at least in slow motion. He's like, there's a pass going behind the net, and look, he scored. Like, it's weird. And then they clipped away and they showed the commentator, and I was like, oh, he's far younger than I expected him to be. He looks like he's like in his 40s, and I was surprised because he sounded like an old man that his medication was kind of wearing off a little bit. But I'm pretty sure it was the Rangers. Anyways, good on Boston. They are, it's just I like it when Boston's good. I love it when Boston's good because everyone hates Boston, and it's great to see them do well because then there's that villain in the league.
Well, you know, it's fun for me too. This is just a little bit of showing fraud on my part. So obviously the trade happens in the offseason. Eric Halla comes to New Jersey. Pavel Zacha goes to Boston. Eric Hall has been killing it for the
Yeah, he's
Devils.
doing really well.
Pavel Zacha, I wanted to see him succeed. Like he was the Devils' high round draft pick in the year that the Leafs took Marner. And there is a lot of players that are very good after him. He is having a worse season, and he's been glued to Bergeron. So I don't know on that one. Both teams needed a change of scenery, and it seems like the Devils are running away with that one. I'm not. Yeah, when I was, what was that, last night, 2 nights ago, the Devils game against 2 nights ago against the Red Wings. Halla's reaction to Bratt scoring that one goal is like he's having fun there, which is fun to see.
Yeah, and that comes with, Boston's an older team. Like their teammates are like, if you look at the age bracket in comparison to the Devils, I think the Devils the second youngest or something like that. The youngest team. So you've got so many young players on the ice, and you get to be kind of the hockey dad for them. And you're not even that old. Like that's kind of fun. He gets to enjoy hockey again, because nothing against Boston. I'm not saying that it was like this awful regime that he was under, but it was just, you have a lot of vets, so they've seen some stuff. They've gone through stuff.
He's basically an old dude on that team. He's 31. He's younger than me. I hate that I'm at the point in my life where most NHLers are younger than me.
I know. I just keep hoping Thornton doesn't retire and finds a team, because I'm like, at least I'm younger than him.
Hey, Stahl is playing again, so you got that going for you.
Oh, good.
Jordan, right? Yeah, he's playing with Panthers tonight, actually.
Yeah, there's 2 stalls on the Panthers.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, they're stalling. Their inevitable demise. Anyways,
there is one thing we haven't brought up. We've kind of gone back and forth talking about the Leafs. We talked about this at the end of last season on Ice Prep Podcast. We talked about this earlier in this season, and that was Jake Muzzin. And I had said I don't think he should be back, and he's on LTIR. The Leafs put him on LTIR. I don't think we will ever see him skating with the Leafs again in an NHL game. It seems from like what's coming out, seems like it's the same thing that's been nagging him, and we've seen it happen. It sucks. He's a very good player, but his style of play, he can't be injured. Like he has to be 100%.
No, and I've been in the boat of get rid of Muzzin for 2 years. I think that he's too risky to have on your team to rely on him to provide what you need. And when he does provide it, cool. But when he's not, which is like 50% of the games, when he's not providing it, he's a liability. He's like Justin Hall can sometimes be more reliable than Jake Muzzin, and that's bad.
The second
bad.
The second that the Leafs got TJ Brody, it should have been Muzzin should have been shipped out that same day.
Yep.
He just does everything better than Muzzin. Yeah, Muzzin, like I loved watching him play because he just had that I don't care attitude, and the Leafs needed that. But
you've got Brody, you've got Giordano. Yeah. Why do you need Muzzin? Get rid of him.
And now they get the $5 million cap space hit, which they'll do something with, because in the last 2 weeks they've had over $10 million in LTIR come in between Murray and Muzzin. So,
I mean, at this point they're going to pick up Chychrun and just keep him on LTIR as he's week to week. But like,
not with what Arizona wants. Like,
no, but at the same time, this is the first thing that Jake Muzzin has done for the Toronto Maple Leafs that has been beneficial in 2 years. And that is going on LTIR. I know that's a really, really mean thing to say, but he has been a detriment to the team. You are relying on him to be a consistent player, and you cannot be. It's like when I play fantasy football, for instance. I know this is a bizarre sort of segue, but when I do fantasy football, when I build a team, I don't look for the all-stars because I hate getting all-stars because they are streaky. They're amazing. They're terrible. They're amazing. They're terrible. I hate it. It's too stressful, and I can't rely on specific people. If I bench the wrong person, I'm screwed. That is Jake Muzzin in a nutshell. He is streaky and unreliable. He is a person that you shouldn't want on your team, not because he's a bad guy or anything like that, but because you cannot rely on him day in and day out. One game he's going to be incredible. The next game he's going to be doing nothing but stretch passes that get intercepted at the red line every single time. The Leafs are so bad for stretch passes, and they've been getting better. But, Muzzin is a liability. Get rid of Muzzin. Stop singing his praises. He might be an incredible dude, but he is not what you guys signed up for.
Well, and they technically have gotten rid of him now, and they've got the space. I mean, does it end up being a Shea Weber-like situation where, yeah, they need the cap space, but they also need the contract space? Because I'm pretty sure the Leafs are like, they would have to ship players out to bring somebody in because they were either at 49 of 50 or 50 of 50 contracts. So it's like, for the person, it sucks because from everything I've seen and heard, he is like an unbelievably good dude to be around. But it's like, you could see it. That first time he got injured in the playoffs, what was that, 2 or 3 years ago? The second he went down, that Leafs team crumbled. And then he's been injured like every playoff year since, and they did fine without him, but it was basically like, okay, what game do we lose Muzzin? And
why are they still relying on him then?
Yeah, and well, they don't have to anymore because as I said, I don't know if he will ever wear a Leafs jersey on the ice again to play a game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a soft retirement, because if he retires fully, he doesn't get all of his money. So
I don't know. I've been saying this. I've said it to you for years. Before we even started this podcast, I was like, he's not that good. Like, they got rid of Barry because all that Barry likes to do is stretch passes and shoot from the point. That's it.
Leaf fans loved him because he would hit people, and they didn't have somebody who did that. And then they've brought in all these bruisers now, and you've got Sandin, who reverse checks anybody who comes near him and decks everybody. So
you've got Matthews throwing hits now.
Yeah, which about time. That was the biggest thing last year. You and I were like, finally, Matthews
he did it.
He is a massive human being.
Okay, so wait, I'm going to ask you something right now then. Now that we're on the topic of Matthews, you can probably see where I'm about to head right now. Do you think he's going to break last year's goal total that he did?
No. Do I think he breaks 50 still? Yes.
Okay. I don't think he breaks 50.
He started slow last year, too.
I think he's going to get injured.
Well,
I think he is prone to injury. His wrist is... He's had to have his wrist repaired a few times.
We'll see what happens, but yeah.
That we're going to see him hit at 45. I'm calling Matthews hitting 45. And I think that you were right with Kyle Connor winning the Rocket.
He is too good. I'm trying to... I really should just keep the stats up full time. Just makes my life easier. He's one of 4 players tied at 7 goals or something right now, I think. Oh, never mind. Nichushkin, Svechnikov, Stamkos are all with 7. I love how Dahlin is tied for 3rd currently.
I'm so that makes me so happy to see that Rasmus Dahlin on the Sabres is finally showing why he was so hyped up. It took him a bit of time, but defensemen take usually normal defensemen, not crazy friggin' monsters like Cale Makar and Adam Fox that are weird and should anomalies. This is the normal progression for most defensemen. They come in, they take a bit of time to find their groove, they find their proper defensive pairing, and then they explode. And that's what Dahlin's doing, and I'm so happy to see it. Buffalo is another team. They've paid their dues, and I hope that this isn't another one of those seasons where they start hot and they just disappear after November. But
Well, they did just lose to the Habs in regulation.
the Habs, they're gonna be up and down. They are my like antithesis. I don't know. I can't say that word, but they're the type of team that I hate in fantasy, where it's just a roll of the dice every game. They can be
And
amazing or terrible.
it's a perfect season if you're a Habs fan, because either like you've already seen the management team turn around the Rangers, and they Slavkovsky is good. Arbor Jacki is the best thing that could have happened to the Canadians. He is one of those players
No,
that no.
no. He is the best marketable personality. The best thing that's happened to them, Gooley.
Gulia, first goal tonight, by the way.
It doesn't matter about goals. He
Oh, I
is the
know.
next Jakob Slavin.
It's
He is good.
Montreal. The amount of found money they've acquired, like the best thing that happened to the Canadians was Bergevin basically being like peace, and that separating, bringing in Jeff Gorton, bringing in Kent Hughes, like
Yeah.
the magic that those two have done in a short amount of time is making the Rangers rebuild that Jeff Gordon did look like nothing, because they lucked into getting Artemi Panarin, and that like that made that rebuild go to another level. This Habs team this year, they may not make the playoffs. They could very easily decide, hey, guess what? We could go for a top 3 or 4 pick. I mean, it's the Bedard draft. There's a few players in there that are going to be superstars as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember the Russian kid's name, but he's 4 or 5 years out minimum. And based on the skill level, people are saying that as good as Bedard is, he's probably better. But that's apparently, it could be one of those like Eichel versus McDavid drafts. You just don't really know.
Yeah.
Habs fans, like even talking to them right now, they're like, I don't care if we lose. They're so fun to watch. Marty St. Louis is amazing.
They've done some really good moves. In the offseason, they were one of the better teams with their moves. And the way the team's performing, yeah, sure, they're not like they probably won't make it to the playoffs this year. And that's fine, because they're a young team. They've got a lot of really, really good young talent that just needs to mature a little bit. And when they do, holy crap, we are going to be talking about some of these players for years, decades to come.
But if they do
So,
make the playoffs, look out, because there is a good portion of those young players who went to a Stanley Cup final. Like that
yep.
can't be forgotten about. Would love to talk about them more. Looking at the time, I forgot to get the audio, so it is games of the week.
Games of the week. Woo! Yay! Let's go. Let's talk about games. Everyone needs a DJ air horn on their phone.
I'm glad you had that ready.
All right. So last week we decided on 2 different games because that's how we roll. Bryan, you chose Colorado versus the New York Rangers on Tuesday. What happened? What happened there? What happened?
Pat sent me a few stressful text messages, went explicitive shootout, and the Avs won it 3-2.
It was a hell of a game. Honestly, I watched from start to finish, and that was a playoff game from start to finish. And good on Georgiev. Like, what a perfect way to go back to New York and just say, hey, you'll enjoy Halak,
The Avs played that game for him. It was a very good game. That
Stressful.
If the Rangers can't turn it around quick, that won't be the Stanley Cup final, but that would be one hell of a Stanley Cup final.
Oh my goodness, that'd be such a good series. And mine was also a 2-3 win. or I suppose 3-2 win. I chose for the Saturday night game. When I say night, I mean 10 p.m. It was Carolina versus Calgary. That also went into extra innings, if you want to say so, and went into overtime. And Calgary won it 3-2. That was a solid game. I don't know if anybody else stayed up and watched it. I watched most of it, and it was fast paced. It was good. That was another one that felt like it could have been a Stanley Cup final. Like they just both teams really, really wanted that win, and you could feel it in that entire atmosphere. So it was a really good game. It was nice to see them win it at home versus in yours going to the away team. But yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it's both good games. It feels like a cheat code though when you pick 4 of the like top teams in the league.
Yeah.
But last year we would do that sometimes, and we were like, oh, that was a bad game unless you were a fan of the winning team.
Yeah. You never know.
Well,
so, Brian.
Now we'll start with you. I always start.
Okay, that's fair. Well, it's because I always have 2. So I choose. If you've chosen one, then I choose the one that doesn't exist. So that's why you always
All right,
start.
I'll start.
Yeah.
Mine, by the time you hear this, will take place tonight. Takes place in New Jersey. It is the Avalanche taking on the Devils. Now, obviously, this one is more fun because it's my team and Pat's team. Where I'm more excited for this is that when it comes to like offensive production, except for goals for some reason, the Devils are either number 1 or number 2 across the league. When it comes to shutting down shots and basically rush chances breakaway, they're either number 1 or number 2 in the league. Mm-hmm. I have the feeling the Avs are going to absolutely destroy us, but it could be. I honestly think this is going to be one of those games where it could be seeing like 12 plus goals between these two teams. Both teams have the players to do that. If Palat,
they also don't have the goaltending to stop it.
Yeah, if Andre Palat is back, the Devils will win. If he is not, the Avs will take this in a cakewalk.
I think it's going to be a bit closer than you think. I think that'll be a really good matchup. I think that these two teams right now are equally matched. Maybe not at the end of the season. You never know. But I think right now they're not far off from each other. So I think it'll be a good game. Mine is Saturday. And this is a very, very accessible game for everyone because it is at 2 p.m. And the Saturday at 2 p.m., that's right, another New York game. It is Dallas versus New York Rangers. I think that these are the two most evenly matched teams, without a doubt, in the league. They are propped up by goaltending, both sides. Both of them, they have solid goal scoring, but if they can't, if there's good goaltending, they can't score. So this is going to, I'm going to say that this is going to be a 2-1 win in overtime, or maybe even a shootout. It is going to be low scoring, high energy, crazy saves, because you've got Ottinger versus Shesterkin. It's going to be, in my opinion, the two of them battling out for the Vezina. This is a Vezina battle game. And I think that at 2 p.m., they are short selling this matchup. This should be a primetime game, but it's not. It is going to be amazing to watch. It will be weird to see what's going on. It's not going to be a normal game. It will be a weird game, but it'll be good. I promise you. One way or another, it will be good. So I highly recommend tuning into that if you can this Saturday at 2 p.m. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, odd that there's also a 4 and a 4:30 game on Saturday, but hey, if you like hockey, it's a great day for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. That should be an interesting game Friday night. Devils basically have to start, I believe, Vanacek because Blackwood is injured again, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So there's that, and Vanacek is currently not doing very well when it comes to stopping pucks, so yeah. That's not a good thing. I like how that dinged, and
Oh no! I hope it doesn't show up on the screen. I just sent a message to the chat saying that I need to use the washroom.
Yeah, and it just literally, if it was about that much higher, Pat, it would have shown up. It would have shown up there. So we'll call it there. Normally, I give the last word to Pat. Do you have anything you want to say, or can I take it?
Oh, I have something I want to throw.
All right,
quick.
you go. You go first.
So it is October 27th as of recording this thing, and that means November is almost here. With November comes Movember. Now, last year, what I did to my face was a travesty and haunted my wife's dreams for literally up until this moment. When I said I was doing Movember, she cried. So
they were nightmares, not dreams.
Yeah, it's true. I was chasing her in her nightmares. I looked horrible. There was nothing good about this. So because of that, because I literally made a child cry, I have decided that I am not going to do a full removal because this took to come back. For those that aren't watching, I am rubbing my face. My facial hair took literally until mid-January to grow back. It does not work for me. So what I am going to be doing is keeping the mustache. Haven't decided yet, but I might do the old school colonial where I get rid of my chin and then I have that awful look where I look like I should be going into the Civil War. But that is the look that I'm going to be rocking. And on top of that, I have pledged that I'm going to walk at least 60 kilometers through the month of November. I am participating in Movember. I will be posting links. I will be tracking everything. And midway through, to raise money for both prostate cancer for men, but also mental health for men. It's such an important thing. The two of us have really been surrounded by a lot of unfortunate tragedy lately. It's been very heavy for the two of us. Let's be honest. It really has been. If I wasn't gray before, I'd be fully gray now in just like a month. And I know my mental health has been suffering because of it. I can't speak for Bryan, but I can't imagine it's been super duper. So mental health is super important for everyone. Obviously there's discrepancies and everything when it comes to the numbers, but men generally, when it comes to suicide, men are generally the ones that stand out when it comes to the numbers. So that is why I do Movember, for mental health, for my own, for my friends, for my family, for everyone. Mental health is so important. That's why I talk about it so much on this podcast. So that's why I raise money. That's why I do this. And we'll be posting links on our Instagram page, probably on our YouTube video. We're going to post it as much as possible. Let's try and raise some money for Movember. It goes to prostate cancer as well as mental health awareness. It's such an important cause right now. So if you can give, amazing. If you can't, then try and raise money yourself. It's super fun to do, especially if you get to, if you decide that you want to do weird stuff. Last year, I ate a Carolina Reaper, which I can't eat spicy food anymore because of that. That's not even a joke.
Pat ruined himself.
A little bit of habanero, and I haven't been, and I was like upset for like 2 days. So just, there's a lot of fun you can have with raising money for really, really good causes. So this won't be the last fundraiser that will happen this year. I have something that I'm going to be doing in spring next year. Or when I say this year, I mean
hockey
this
season.
Year's podcast. But yes, so please, if you can give, amazing. If you can't, then join in, raise money for everyone. Really, this benefits every single person. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to shut up about it because I'm rambling now and I have no exit strategy for what I'm saying. So Bryan, did you have something you wanted to add at the end?
Yeah, just something really quick. At the end of the last episode, Pat had mentioned that we had some people that were going through things in our life. It was shortly after we finished recording that a buddy of mine ended up passing away. I think you may have only met him once or twice. We were at his place for my bachelor party, we did an NHL tournament there, that being John Thompson. Um, Tough news to get. I've been checking in on my friends with that. It's one of those things that from it, I've talked to some people that I haven't talked to since before the pandemic. So it's kind of brought a friend group back together. But yeah, I'm glad that I had the chance to see him about 2 weeks ago. But if there's people in your life that you've just kind of, you're still good friends with, but you've kind of been disconnected because of what happened in the world, take the chance to reach out. I don't mean to sound morbid, but you just never know. And you don't want to, like, friendships they're such a rare thing that you don't want to take it for granted. So just wanted to send my love off to his family and everything going on there. So that's all I got. We'll end it there, Pat.
Yeah, I like you said, I only met Tom for a few times, and incredible person. So my thoughts as well are with family, friends, everything. So yeah, hug your loved ones, and as I like to say, always be good to each other. And as Bryan said, reach out to your friends. They're there for a reason. They love you. Show that love.
And on that note, the Devils are going to win. No, they won't.